I talked about this one yesterday. We're going to have a look for another trade opportunity today. We'll just quickly have a look at this. We were looking for a bullish break. It never happened, and it continued down. We finally got it down here. I just want to show you something. This is a 15-minute chart, and I sent the idea in back here, and it traded down. See this signal? That's your buy signal. Above that blue line, in you go. Just set it with this. If you've got this indicator, it's just the volume aligned VWAP. That's it. That's all you need to do. Anyway, what we're going to do is have a look at this, and we'll look for another opportunity, show you what to look for. But just quickly before I do, this is my VIP Telegram. As of today, I'm announcing that you can copy this for free. You can copy the signals off here automatically over to your MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, free. Here's the information on this, okay? Go to my website, anthonyfx.com. Free trade copy, right there. Right? There it is, 100% free. Just refresh it. There's also a spreadsheet. Have a quick look at that if you like. And there's info on the gold EA, but you know, there's some results, and you can see what this looks like. You set the risk. It's completely in your hands. I send you a link. You connect, free, and then you can set the risk at 1 to 1, 1 to 2 if you like. But this is just my trades here. Okay, we started a strategy from May, and that's free for you to join, to connect your account to. Right, then there's the gold EA if you want to go down that path as well. All the information's there. Anyway, let's come back to Bitcoin, and we'll look for an opportunity. Yeah, so what I'll do is click over here. We're just going to include Trading View share. Righto, so we're on Trading View now. All right, so I sent this in yesterday. We were looking for a Bitcoin opportunity. So if I open that up, scroll down, there it is here. So we're looking for, and I explained in the video, wait for the pullback to break structure. All right, so wait for the pullback to give you a bullish break of market structure. It never happened. This is a 30-minute chart. It didn't happen through here. So there's no trade. It didn't break out of this trend. So all you got to do is just grab a line and run it through the highs, or run it through the candle bodies if you like. That does the job there. All right, so you're looking for this to break out of here, come back and retest. That didn't happen. So I took a dive, and then see down here, this is it, look. So if you pick up the this trend line, and if you go for candle bodies, you can pull it through here. So you got that breakout there, or if you want, you can extend it out a little bit just to be sure. Now the other way to get involved with this is, I'll just get rid of that. No trade if it goes south, right? So here's the other way to get involved. Look, 15-minute chart, and just, okay, this is trending down. Now you know you're looking for a break of this downtrend, bullish. Pick up the anchored VWAP, and if you're looking for a bullish opportunity, just follow this previous swing low down. See that? And this swing low here if you like, and just keep following that swing low. See the anchored VWAP, see how it breaks, see the trend, look, and it breaks through here. This is it. That's what you need to look for. It's as easy as that. And then you buy. Okay, it breaks out of this downtrend, pulls back, and here's another thing. This volume profile value area that you see here, what's happening here? This is called a fade. It's a reclaim into value. Right, we've got a value area where price has, okay, low to the high, to the low, to the high, to the low, to the high, okay, breaks through, comes back into value. This is where there's like the point of control down here. This is the main value range, right? This is fair value. All right, so, and what you get with the volume profile range, this value range, is when it breaks out of the range, it potentially, okay, goes into price discovery. So you get a trend, right? So you go pull back, it ranges, and then it breaks out of the range, goes into price discovery, and looks for the next value range. Breaks out, right? So that's a trend, and on it goes, right? So in an uptrend, right? So every time you break out of these consolidations, right? So this is it here, and it'll go into price discovery, potentially, right? So if it holds above, fails to trade back into the value range, then you're in price discovery, and then you go long looking for the next target. So let's just back out of these drawings for a second. And this is what you call a fade back into value reclaim right here, right there. So you've got the volume profile, you pull it back. Let's just be specific with the volume profile. So I'm looking at all of this through here. So you place the volume profile here. It's not painting for some reason. The internet might be slow. Oh, there it goes. Righto. And then it'll pick up all of this range-bound price action. All right. Now, this is where bigger players are working their orders through here. Then you get a bit of manipulation. It'll break up and down and do whatever it does, right? But if it fails like this, it's a failed breakout, and you get this reclaim back into value. See, that's where you would sell, looking for the low. When it hits the low, you can look for a buy, targeting the high of the value range, right? So here, when it pulls back into value, you've got two things going on. You've got VWAP giving you the break above VWAP, but you've also got the break back into this volume profile range here, and it fails to continue down. So you see these two candle wicks, so that's being held up. So you look to buy on, and you can pull a diagonal through here if you like. You've got the diagonal, you've got the VWAP confirmation plus the break back into value. That's everything you need to buy. Stop loss well under the previous low. Generally, I mean, this is a bit tight because the this point of control is right here. That's not ideal, but would prefer to see it further up. In any case, your first target would normally be around the point of control if it's sort of midway, but yeah, that was a bit tight. But then your second target is always going to be the high of that value range. That's target 2. So that gave you, if you had a reasonably tight stop under that previous low, that's like nearly 4R, and then beyond, right? Just depending on how well you managed your trade, 6R if you caught that. All right. So that's how you can work this, right? So you've got a trend. Now let's just go out and have a look at this. What's it doing? 30 minutes. So I would be bullish. My bias is bullish with this at the moment. While this is trending up, we've got higher highs, higher lows. That looks like a run on liquidity, and possibly we see it further up, possibly, right? So you get a range, fake out, shake out, so fakey shaky. So have a look at this from the range point of view. You got the high and low of the range. So this is called a Wyckoff range that's building liquidity. You get a bit of manipulation. This is a Wyckoff spring, if you will, okay? The spring, and look at the momentum. See how it pushed off with speed, and a lot of momentum behind that. So now we come back down into this imbalance, which the fair value gap, well, you could, there. That's a fair value gap through here. And you can see it on the volume profile how it sinks back in there. But this candle, pretty much, if you want to look at it that way, all right, the high and low of that, a thin candle. So you got this fair value gap. This is trading back down into, looking to rebalance. So what I want to see, look, we've got the VWAPs already set up. So what I want to see from this point is if this holds, and however, look, it could trade down to the bottom. Who knows, right? But if it holds and we get a break above VWAP, that's all you got to look for. So grab the parallel, pull it through. You got a couple of touches here. Do that. All right, there's a channel. What I want to see is these VWAPs, they'll extend out. And you can throw another VWAP on this low here. So that'll be another VWAP, anchored VWAP. These will trail to the right. As this, like if this holds and it wiggles around to the right, who knows, it might travel down to the base. I don't know, right? But wherever this breaks structure bullish, like back here, I was looking for the bullish breaker structure. Wherever that breaks out, then I'm going to be looking for that, preferably above the volume profile range, and I would be looking to get long note buy. That's what I'm looking for. breaks above the volume profile, then with a bit of luck that holds and it continues and goes into price discovery, and then you get the next leg of the you know, this uptrend into the next wherever it finds fair value, and everyone kind of, you know, buyers and sellers kind of agree on price. That's what's happening back down in here. It's auction market theory. All right, so you could take the risk and buy a bit early, right here if you want, but be careful because this can act as a fairly strong resistance level, as it does down here. Look at the support, see? The volume profile, the base through here. All right, so just be careful. Now, if you get above this blue line on the volume profile, then yeah, I would be buying above that. So that's my plan, I guess, for Bitcoin at the moment. Now, if it fails and it breaks under, look, I'll probably call it a no trade, but you could, I mean, if it does this and it, you know, we go into down mode, you could look to sell. Like when you break out of this range, don't go buying and selling midway through this range. It's a bit tricky, but like, you know, look for the base, aim for the high. There it turns around, aim for the base. Look, see, yeah, I mean, and just follow it as it's trending. See, that's trending up in the break structure. Okay, go short. And down the bottom here, it fails to break through. There's a bullish break of structure right there. See that? There. That's it. Stop just under the low or under the thing. Right? That's a you know, that's a 2R target. Anyway, what I was saying, you could look to short if it travels under, and who knows which direction it's going to go. I mean, you could do that. Why not? Possible sell. I'm just thinking that we might get a bit more upside with this. You know, keep an eye on the Nasdaq. It's fairly closely correlated with the Nas. And just keep the anchored VWAPs running, right? So you'll get this cluster of VWAPs, and then just make sure that, you know, I'll show you this. Look, back in here, how do you know when to buy? Look, grab the VWAP, and if you're bullish, just follow these previous low points. All right, there's a low here. Right, see this above VWAP? There's another low point. All right, just follow the low points, and it'll give you the break above VWAP right here. So this is where this trend, okay, shifts. Okay, we break structure, and VWAP will give you that, the anchored VWAP. And you know, you can also grab a this. Yeah, you see your break of structure there, BOS, right? So that's what you do. That's how you can kind of look after yourself and stay on the right side of the market. VWAP will tell you who's mainly in control. And at the moment, yeah, it's see how we're within the cluster of VWAP here. So wait for the breakout of the cluster, and the breakout of the cluster will tell you who's mainly in control. I mean, if you want to, you could even throw it on both directions. Maybe not. That's if you're looking for a bearish opportunity. I would throw it. See, up in here, that would have been your short. You know, you could look to sell. That see, watch this. Look, there's another lower high here. See how the VWAPs do that, and then if you grab the, you know, you're pulling that through here. So you got both things. You got the break of this bullish structure. You know, you can pull that diagonal if you like, and then you got the under VWAP. So that's the point there when it's breaking. Yeah, but I wouldn't probably touch it until it breaks back down into the value area. But then you know that you're back, you reclaim value again, and then there's a good chance that heads down. My first target's always going to be the point of control, and then the other end of the value range. But that's how you rule of thumb. If it's bullish, place the anchored VWAP on the swing lows. All right, what else can I say? Yeah, I mean that's it, pretty much. If you think this is going to be bearish, then you just start to place the VWAPs on the highs and then, you know, follow it down. Anyway, that's my take. I'd love it if you comment. Let me know what you think. And yeah, with that, I hope you have a fantastic day. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.